it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter what your religion or your culture is. The most important thing in life is leave your differences on the table and trying to find what we have in common.
Welcome to Global Perspectives. This week I am so happy to be bringing to you a member of the Boston Celtics professional NBA basketball player, Enes Kanter. To me, Enes is the definition of a hero. At so much personal sacrifice, Enes has head-on challenged the autocratic president of his home country of Turkey, Recep Erdogan, while spending his own time creating bridges of understanding between Muslims, Jews, and Christians. Enes Kanter of the Boston Celtics, it is so wonderful to have you with me on Global Perspectives. Thanks so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Enes, you've become a bit of a hero in the Jewish community for all the work that you're doing to build bridges between the Muslim world and Jews all over America and worldwide. Tell me what inspires you to do this work.
I'll tell you a little bit about my childhood background. I remember growing up. I grew up actually east side of Turkey, the city called Van, V-A-N. And I remember when I was growing up, all the people around me, especially like the kids in my age, they were hating on Jewish people. They were hating on Israel for nothing, literally. And I remember, coming home one night and asking my mom, is like, Mom, why is all my friends are, hating on Jewish people, hating on Israel? I mean, they don't even have any Jewish friends. So how can they judge to someone without them, them meeting with them? So my mom told me, listen, I'm not gonna tell you anything. But first, you need to educate yourself. And second, you cannot hate anyone before you meet them. Go meet them and then make your own decision. So I remember after that, I was like 10, 11 years old. I started doing research actually. But back then I didn't really have computers. So I was like trying to read some book about it, but it was so heavy I couldn't really understand anything. But I promised myself one thing. I'm not going to hate or I'm not going to dislike anyone before I meet with this person or before I meet with this kind of people. So, and then I came to America. I remember first time I came to America, it was 2009. I started to, just meet with, Jewish people, people from Israel. And, they were so friendly and they were so nice. And sometimes we even sit down and have a conversation. I'm like, they eat the same food. We dance in the same music. We had pretty much the same culture. We both like shawarma. We both like hummus. We both like falafel. So I'm like, I cannot hate these people. Those are like my brothers and sisters.
Oh,
So more and more.
Enes, I have to tell you something. You just said it. We are brothers and sisters, and you and I have spoken about this. That Jews are, I'm from Iran. The Jewish people, we are indigenous to the Middle East, and for thousands of years, Jews and Muslims lived side by side as neighbors, as friends, as business partners. And sadly, the forces of history more recently have pulled us apart. And incredibly, again, here you are telling the story of your own life, where mom made such a huge difference in helping you see the cause for love rather than hate. I want to ask you a little bit more about this, because beyond I guess meeting Jews in America for the first time, you have been really vocal in your support also for Israel. I saw a recent op-ed that you wrote with Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Gilad Erdogan, where you both spoke about how together you can combat anti-Semitism. What was your focus in that piece specifically, and what is it that you think we could all be doing more of?
I remember first time meeting with Ambassador Gilad Erdogan, unbelievable guy and very smart, he's a good friend. That's how I will explain him. Really, he cares. I think that if I had to describe him, he cares. He cares about his friends, his family, the people around him. So I was like, I went to his house and, we were just talking. I'm like, listen, Ambassador, I've been dying to just find some kind of solution about what can we do to, fight against anti-Semitism and also Islamophobia. And, we were trying to, come up with these ideas, and we came up with an idea. We were like, why don't we put a joint op-ed out there? It's very random. An ambassador from Ambassador Israel and an NBA basketball player talking about Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. I think it was a really good collaboration, and it did bring a lot of noise and stuff. But I think it's important. I think the first time I remember this happened, it was one of the Jewish holidays. I believe it was in Brooklyn or New Jersey. And my Jewish brothers and sisters, they were celebrating their special day, and they got attacked by people. And I just couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, listen, this is America. It's 2000. Back then it was 2019 or 20, I believe. We are in the 21st century. I'm like, this cannot be happening in America where we say it's free, right? So that's why it was the first time I actually said something about it. And obviously because of the NBA platform event viral, but then more and more I started to speak out about these issues more. And I feel them, because I know that, it's tough because I'm having the same hard time when they talk about Islamophobia. I'm trying to do everything I can to just beat that.
Well, what you're referring to, just so the audience knows, is the Hanukkah Muncie stabbing attack, which left the rabbi. Eventually, it left the rabbi in that attack dead. And Enes, you took to Twitter and you made a statement in support of the Jewish people. And you're right, it went viral, and it meant so much, I think, to Jews across America, knowing that here you are, a celebrity, an athlete, and a Muslim, and that you stood in support of the Jewish people at this, time where we were really in deep mourning. And so I think all of us feel very grateful to you for doing that. Enes, besides being a hero to Jewish Americans and Jews around the world, you're also a hero to your own people back home in Turkey. I'd love to explore that with you a little bit. Right now, we are in a situation where Erdogan has really taken a country that was known for being a secular, very tolerant Muslim country, and sadly turned it towards what I think many of us are perceiving a more radicalist Islamist stance. And you have been someone who has taken a stand against that and been outspoken in some ways at your own personal risk, criticizing Erdogan. What was your first time, if you could tell us, what was the first time that you spoke out, and what has been your experience since then?
Turkey, like you just said, Turkey was peaceful. Turkey was a peaceful country, and it was a democratic and secular country. Since 2013, unfortunately, it's what's happened over there is heartbreaking. There are so many political prisoners, journalists, and innocent people are in the jail just because they don't think the same way what Erdogan thinks. There are so many people, so especially young generation growing up in Turkey, anti-West and anti-Semitic because of Erdogan's hate speeches towards America and Israel. I remember I was talking about these issues for the first time in 2013, and that's actually the first time I said something about it in social media. And obviously, because of the platform, it became a conversation in many of the places, and they started putting a lot of pressure on myself and my family, you know. And my dad was a genetic professor. He got fired from his job. My mom uh, couldn't leave the house. My sister went to medical school for 6 years, and she still cannot find a job. My little brother was playing basketball. He literally got kicked out in every team. You know, they were getting harassed so much they had to put a statement out there and saying we are disowning Enes.
Enes, I just want to, just so that our audience really understands what you're saying here, is that because of the fact that you criticized Erdogan,
Exactly.
the states took action to retaliate against you by retaliating against your family members who are still home in Turkey.
Exactly. You know, my family had to put a statement out there and saying we are disowning Enes because they were getting harassed so much. But you know, Turkish government didn't believe that. One day they sent police to my house in Turkey and they raided the whole house and they took every electronics away without even asking anything, without the permission, like phones, computers, laptops, iPads, because they wanted to see if I am still in contact with my family or not. And if they, you know, would have seen any text message or any email or missed, they will be all in jail, which they took my dad in jail for a while, but we put so much pressure thanks to all the, you know, the US politicians and American media, they had to let him go. But I mean, since then, there's no communication with like last time I talked to my father, I can't even remember. Last time I saw them was back in 2015. So it's been almost like 7 years now. So the conversation has been tough, but you know, like the one thing, like, you know, my friends and especially my teammates are asking is like, listen, you know, your family is still back in there. Why are you talking about these issues? You know, people need to know that, you know, my family is only one. There are so many families, so many like innocent women, 17,000 last time I checked, innocent in jail right now waiting for help. So like, of course, I'm going to use my platform to talk about all these issues.
Yes, exactly right. And I was wondering if people ask you this question all the time, which is here you are living in the United States. You are a well-known athlete. You work, you know, you have a spot in the NBA. And you could really just enjoy life in the US and live that athlete celebrity lifestyle. But you've chosen to be a fighter for human rights. What does motivate that?
The most question that I get is, are you crazy? Because like literally some of the things that I ever have actually done is just, you just have to be crazy about it. But like, I'm crazy for saving people. I mean, I'll take that any day. So for our audience to understand, it's just, so they put my name on Interpol list. So I'm pretty much an international criminal. That is the reason that I cannot leave America, because they also revoke my passport. So that's the reason that I cannot leave America. But luckily, I'm going to become an American citizen soon, so I can travel outside of America and just go pretty much almost everywhere. But obviously, these conversations are tough because I'm not a journalist or I'm not a politician. I'm just a basketball player. But at the same time, I want to save those people because there are so many, you know, reports out there are saying that, you know, these people are in the jail, or political prisoners are getting tortured, you know, torture and rape. You look at Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Human Rights Foundation. These people are in a very tough, you know, condition. So I feel like we just need to do what I feel like we just need to bring more awareness of what's going on and just try to save those people over there.
I think it's a story that is not any longer told. The US media paid a few minutes of attention, which what you're referring to, if I understand correctly, is that time when Erdogan accused masses of people in Turkey of plotting a coup d'etat against him. And after that, there was mass arrests where, as far as I understood, thousands of journalists, but professionals in all different kinds of fields were arrested and wrongfully detained. And are you saying, Enes, that to this day, people are being held in Turkish prisons?
Oh yeah, there are so many problems. You know, Turkey is, I think, top three in the whole world that put the most journalists in the jail. You know, behind China and Russia, I believe. You know, there's so many, you know, innocent people are in the jail just because of they work at a media outlet that said something against the government, or they work at one of those places that, you know, wrote an article about how bad the Erdogan is or how bad his regime is. You know, people need to understand they are blessed and to be in a, you know, in the situation like America. Yeah, there are so many problems are happening over there in Turkey. It's heartbreaking. But the important thing is we just need to just keep praying for those people. For those people.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. I am someone like we said, I was born in Iran and came here as a refugee as a child, and I know every day how blessed I am to be a citizen of the United States of America. I wish that members of Congress who are immigrants like us, and they'll remain nameless, I wish some of them would also count their blessings that they're here in the United States of America, in a free country that gives us all these rights by the Constitution. Enes, I want to stay on this topic for just another moment. You also wrote in the pages of the Wall Street Journal a very thoughtful op-ed where you suggested some, I think, very smart policy suggestions on the US relationship to Turkey. Do you mind elaborating on that a bit, on what you think the United States could be doing on these issues?
So, you know, when you're dealing with the dictatorships, you cannot play a friendly game, you know, because they're going to take an advantage. So I feel like what US should do, and we are actually are working on it with some of the US senators and congressmen, sanctions. Sanctions are the only solution that will save people. And I'm not talking about the sanction the whole country. Well, they're already sanctioned because of S-400s, but I'm talking about sanctions for all the human rights violations out there. You know, there are so many people who are torturing the innocent people in jail. So I feel like if we put sanctions on those people, it's going to teach them a very big lesson. So, you know, this year there's actually I'm working on actually a bill called 2021 Human Rights Promotion Act bill. The sponsors are, you know, Senator Markey from Massachusetts, Senator Ron Wyden, and Senator Jeff Merkley from Oregon. You know, these are the two states that I played basketball for last year and this year. The goal of the bill is obviously trying to put some sanctions on some of the people, individuals in Turkey, and, you know, try to free those political prisoners. So we are doing this one in the Senate and the one in you know, the Congress. In Congress, you know, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries and Congresswoman Liz Cheney are, you know, sponsoring it. So I'm really hopeful for those bills. I think it's going to bring a lot of noise, and it's going to put some really pressure on some bad people in Turkey.
Well, I think that's wonderful that you have been so empowered here in the U.S. and that you're working with members of Congress. And Turkey is just such an important country as a member of NATO, and strategically, geographically, where Turkey is placed, bridging both the European and Asian continents. And so it really does behoove the United States to figure out how we can get President Erdogan and the country to be on a better path and to really behave like a NATO ally is supposed to. So I think that anything that you can do, as we hope you'll soon be a Turkish American, is so incredibly important for the future stability of so much of the world. Enes, I want to also talk a little bit about your future plans. Where do you hope that your career takes you in terms of all this work that you're doing in fighting Islamophobia and fighting anti-Semitism, and in being truly a man building bridges between worlds?
I think, you know, when I retire, that's what I want to be remember of, you know, the person, you know, who cared about, you know, his community, and not just his community, but just all around the world, you know, because I feel like I am blessed with what I do. and I feel like we need to use it because we have a very short time of a period, on my plate, maybe 5, 6. I hope more if my body can take it 5 more, 6 more years. But I think my future plans are definitely I want to do something where it's involved Jewish and Muslim kids and doing maybe some kind of basketball camp. And Israel, actually, we were planning to go this summer, but I couldn't become a citizen yet. So I'm gonna become a citizen, American citizen next year. So we're planning to go to Israel actually to do a basketball camp. But other than that, whenever I retire, a lot of people are telling me that it was like, listen, you have a very bright future in American politics, so maybe you should think about that. So I was like, it's probably too early to tell right now, but just because of I'm just involved in so many things right now. Maybe I would love to definitely think about maybe become a congressman and maybe US senator one day. Why not?
Well, that would be incredible. And you're reminding me that the last time you and I saw each other was on a very, very special day. It was the 1-year anniversary of the Abraham Accords, anniversary of the signing of the Abraham Accords. We saw each other in Washington, D.C., where the Abraham Accords Peace Institute was holding the official commemoration. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the Abraham Accords and what brought you to DC on that special day.
What an amazing and beautiful event. I remember when I was in LA actually before I came to DC, and I was working with this Jewish school called Neil Academy in Beverly Hills. And I was like, listen, this is the first year anniversary of the Abraham Accords. Why don't we do something special? So we brought, some Muslim kids in a Jewish school, and we had a blast. I remember we were breaking ice, we were eating some kosher food, and then after that we had an amazing basketball camp. And then after that, the next day I flew to DC to join the events of first year anniversary of Abraham Accords. It was just amazing. I remember a lot of ambassadors was there. Gilad Erdogan was there. Jared Kushner was there. So it was a very amazing event. I really did educate myself. I wanted to go there because I wanted to educate myself. Not just to just hang out in a party and just eat some kosher food, but I actually wanted to educate myself. But it was an amazing event. I learned a lot. But what an amazing project. And I think, more and more countries, I hope, will join to this project. And the world is going to become a very peaceful place, I hope.
Amen to that. And I'm with you. I think all of us would love to, first of all, see Turkey repair its relationship with Israel, which, as you know, is kind of a hot and cold. They kind of go back and forth. And as well to see more Arab and more Muslim countries make peace with Israel. I do need to ask you one more question, which I know that people in the audience would want to know a little bit about that, which is the scholar Fethullah Gulen. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. I know that you've been influenced by Mr. Gulen. Could you tell us a little bit about how he has influenced your life and your thinking, and if there's something that you think is misunderstood about him?
Right. Yeah, I remember, going to his school since, the second grade in Turkey. And actually, the funny fact is, the President Erdogan's, kids were going to Gulen movement's prep schools since when they were a little kids. So it's a very fun fact. Not many people knows about this, but
Shocking.
because they were like the best. They were like the best prep schools and schools that given the best education. I've been going to this school since second grade, and what I learned there was just unbelievable. I learned dialogue there. I learned, communicate with people there. But one of the reasons I'm really open minded and open to dialogue was just because of I was going to this Gulen movement school since second grade, and I remember coming to America for the first time to meet him. Actually, when I sit down for the first time and we're having a conversation, and he just said, "It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your color is. It doesn't matter what your religion or your culture is. The most important thing in life is leave your differences on the table and trying to find what we have in common, because we only have one world to live. Till, I don't know, one of these billionaires, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, find another planet to live, this world is what we have. So we need to make this world better together. So that was the key word, to together. So I remember he told me this. I was like, wow, this is an amazing thing. And he believes we are having, you know, so much problems in our century because of uneducated people. So instead of this movement going out there and, you know, building mosques, this, you know, movement decided to go out there and build, you know, schools and dormitories and universities all around the world, not just in Turkey, but all around the world, you know. And these schools are not just for Muslim kids, it's for, you know, Jewish, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, believe in God, don't believe in God. You know, you go to these schools and learn about, you know, math and science. So that was the one thing that really like got me excited, because he was investing in our futures. Because if you want a better and brighter future, we have to invest in our young generation. And that was the one thing that this movement was doing. And it was just, for me, it was an eye opener. So right now I'm actually going to build my first school in America, and I believe it's going to be in 2022, end of the year. So I'm really excited about it.
No kidding. And where is this school going to be, and what is the vision for this school?
So it's going to be in either Milwaukee or Indiana. And so we are still trying to decide where we should build the school. But you know, I remember growing up, obviously, there was so many beautiful teachers were around me, and they taught me a lot. And I remember I told my mom, I promised my mom one day, I was like, Mom, if I become so famous one day, I'm going to build a school for you, because she was all about education. So it was my dream for when, like, you know, since when I was a little kid. But obviously the focus of the school is going to be education and sports. So
that sounds like a beautiful dream. And so incredible that as a young person, you already had this vision that you wanted to build a school. If I can only say, if only all of our athletes and celebrities thought as you do. Enes Kanter, I just want to tell you that everything that you're doing to reach out to the Jewish community means so much to Jews all around America and all around the world. I am hoping to partner with you myself in building bridges with the Muslim world. And so I can't thank you enough for joining me on Global Perspectives.
Thank you so much for giving me the platform to talk about these important topics, because if we want to have a better future, you know, we have to educate our young generation. So it is important. Thank you for giving me the platform.
Absolutely. Thank you. I so much admire that Enes Kanter isn't just living it up in America as a celebrity basketball player, while his fellow countrymen and women in Turkey suffer cruel human rights abuses at the hands of the Turkish government under Erdogan. Noteworthy also was his appreciation for the freedoms too many people take for granted in the US and the West. It comes as no surprise that a man like Enes, who is a fighter for human rights, also works so hard to bring Muslims and Jews together through sports. Thanks so much for joining me on Global Perspectives. Join me the next time.